$10,000 for what?
The neighborhood does not belong to you, it belongs to me.
I woke up to a $10,000 fine, not from a court, not from the city, from my HOA, signed by one person, Karen. So I called her. She didn't explain. She laughed and said, "This neighborhood doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me." That's when I realized this wasn't about rules. It was about humiliation. Because what Karen didn't know was that the fine she just sent me was the first mistake that would expose everything she'd been hiding. The email arrived at 6:04 a.m., bold red subject line like a threat, final violation notice, immediate payment required. Amount due, $10,000. I stared at the screen half asleep, waiting for the punchline. There wasn't one. The reason listed underneath was almost insulting. Unauthorized external modifications, repeated noncompliance with HOA standards. My crime? I installed a doorbell camera. That was it. No letters, no warnings, no meeting. Just 10 grand and a 3-day deadline. At the bottom of the PDF was her digital signature, Karen Whitmore, HOA President. Karen had moved into the neighborhood 2 years ago and somehow turned a volunteer board position into a personal throne. Former real estate agent, always in blazers, always smiling too hard. The kind of woman who says community but means control. I called her immediately. She answered on the first ring. "Good morning," she said, cheerful. "Did you see the notice?" "I did," I replied. "And it's insane." Her tone shifted instantly. Cold, flat. "You've been warned multiple times. You chose not to listen." "No one warned me about anything." She laughed quietly, not nervous, amused. "That's the problem," she said. "You think this is a conversation." Then she hit me with the line that made my stomach drop. "You don't actually own your house the way you think you do." That was the moment I understood something important. This wasn't about an HOA violation. This was about Karen proving she could financially break anyone she wanted. And she just picked the wrong person to try it on because, unlike the rest of the neighborhood, I keep records, and Karen had just left a very long paper trail. The first thing I did after hanging up wasn't panic. It was search. I logged into the HOA portal and pulled every public record I could find. Meeting minutes, violation logs, payment histories. Most homeowners never look at them. They just pay whatever shows up in their inbox and hope Karen moves on to someone else. That's how she stayed untouchable. At first, it looked random. Different names, different violations. Lawn height, trash bins, window shades, solar lights, pet noise, all petty, all subjective. But then I noticed the numbers. Every fine over the past year followed the same pattern. $500, $1,200, $3,000, $7,500, $10,000, always escalating, always labeled final notice, and always signed by Karen. No hearings, no appeal records, no board votes, just her. Then I started clicking the names. Single mom on my street, $4,000 for unauthorized parking. Retired veteran, $6,500 for excessive exterior decor. New couple, $9,000 for noise violations, even though they both work nights. Every single one of them had something in common. They'd all publicly disagreed with Karen at meetings. That's when it hit me. The HOA wasn't enforcing rules. It was punishing dissent. Karen wasn't a president. She was a toll booth. You either paid her or she financially suffocated you until you complied or moved. I knocked on the single mom's door that evening. She looked nervous just opening it. When I mentioned Karen's name, her face changed. She told me if I didn't pay, she'd put a lien on my house, she whispered. I didn't even know she could do that. She couldn't. Not legally. But fear works better than the law when people don't know their rights. And that's when I realized something darker. Karen didn't just enjoy the power. She was feeding on it. And my $10,000 fine wasn't the first one. It was just the biggest. If you're watching this and you've ever dealt with an HOA nightmare like this video, subscribe for real-life stories like this, and drop a comment. Where are you watching from right now? Once I saw the pattern, I couldn't unsee it. Karen wasn't just fining people, she was targeting them. Anyone who challenged her, anyone who asked for receipts, anyone who didn't clap hard enough at meetings. They didn't get warnings, they got invoices. So I went deeper. I downloaded the HOA's financial statements, the ones buried 3 clicks deep that no one ever reads. At first glance, everything looked clean, balanced budgets, proper categories, professional formatting. But then I noticed something strange. The legal and compliance fund had exploded. It went from $3,000 one year to almost $60,000 the next. No lawsuits, no legal firm listed, no explanation. Just one recurring line item, consulting services, KW Solutions. KW, Karen Whitmore. I searched the business registry. KW Solutions wasn't a law firm. It wasn't even a real company. It was a shell, registered to a P.O. box. No employees, no website, no phone number, but it had received tens of thousands of dollars from the HOA. My stomach dropped. Karen wasn't just using fines to scare people. She was routing HOA money into her own pocket. And then it got worse. Every single payment to KW Solutions was approved by the same person. Her. She was fining homeowners, collecting the money, and then paying herself as a consultant to manage the violations. A closed loop. A perfect little machine. Fear goes in, money comes out, Karen gets richer, and suddenly my $10,000 fine made sense. It wasn't punishment, it was a payout. And I wasn't just a homeowner anymore. I was a liability, because now I wasn't dealing with a control freak. I was dealing with someone running a quiet scam who had no idea I just found the ledger that could destroy her. I didn't confront Karen. That's what she expected. Instead, I made copies. Every invoice, every transfer, every payment to KW Solutions. Then I did one simple thing. I sent an anonymous email to the entire HOA board. Subject line, does everyone know where the money is going? Inside were screenshots, highlighted totals, bank references, her signature on every approval, no commentary, no accusations, just facts. The silence lasted 3 days. On the 4th day, the HOA portal went offline. On the 5th, Karen emailed the neighborhood due to a temporary accounting issue, all fines are suspended. Accounting issue, that's what she called fraud. An hour later, my phone rang, unknown number. It was Karen. Her voice was different now, not confident, not sweet, tight. Why are you doing this? She asked. I said, because you tried to steal $10,000 from me. She laughed nervously. You don't understand how this works. No, I replied. You don't understand how this ends. 2 weeks later, the board held an emergency meeting. Without Karen, she resigned for personal reasons. KW Solutions vanished from the records. So did my fine. So did every other fine she'd issued that year. The HOA hired an external auditor. 3 months later, homeowners received refunds, not apologies. Refunds. Rees. Karen moved out quietly. No goodbye email, no farewell speech, no apology tour, just a for sale sign and a locked Facebook profile. She spent 2 years humiliating people with fake power. All it took to end her was one invoice she never thought anyone would read. If you've ever dealt with a Karen HOA, like this video so more people see it, subscribe for real stories like this, and tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? City and country.